today's video, we'll be looking at crazy TikTok conspiracy theories that I'm sure will shatter your reality.
Why can't we get beyond the ice wall? NASA won't let us.
It's a good question.
There are many entrances, but guarded by strong fields that block all attempts to cross. Another possible tunnel through or under. This ancient ship never made it. NASA covers up this secret base. Wreckage of UFO trying to cross from beyond the wall to our Earth realm.
Man, what y'all think that is? Yo, whatever that is, that's gotta be a huge, if it's a ship or whatever it may be, because if this is coming from like the Google satellite imaging or whatever, that's pretty big. You know, that's probably like, man, what y'all think that is, man? Let me know in the comments.
Allegedly found at the site. Wake up,
Allegedly.
Scariest conspiracy theories in the world that will seriously change your life. This shows a list of all the conspiracy theories in the world, from the top, the most well-known, to the bottom, the darkest of the dark, that will change your life. And welcome back, guys. Of course, as you know by now, in this series we're going from the top to the bottom, so I don't even know what part this is, but let's go. I don't like this one. I don't like it. This is solipsism. Genuinely, if you suffer from paranoia or anxiety or anything like that, just don't watch this. Like, I actually mean it this time. Right, so you are the only real person. Everyone around you is literally an NPC, so am I. Wait, what? This is what solipsism is, just have a little read. I believe that only one's mind is actually sure to exist, which is true. The scary thing about this is there is no way to prove or disprove this.
Yo, this kind of, man, has anybody read into the hologram theory, right? Where everything in the world is a hologram and is projected from your mind. So this reminds me of the hologram theory, because in that it also states that, you know, you are like the only person seeing things, and that nothing actually exists until you lay your eyes on it. Meaning that everything behind me is not there until I turn around and I see it, right? And then I vision that it's there, but once I turn around, that it's not there anymore, right? It's just a little bit crazy and a little bit freaky, but this is pretty interesting.
Ever. So everything around you is fake, everybody around you is fake, only you are real. When you look at things, when you turn around, things just spawn in. But you are completely alone in this place, and everybody is just your brain's way of making you not feel so alone. Boom. Mind blown. See you in the next one.
There's a CIA document that came out. Everybody just started talking about it now. It's called the Adam and Eve story. It basically explains how the world is going to end.
Has it been true?
It makes sense. They say the world is going to end because the poles, like, you know, North and South Pole, they shift every 12,000 to 15,000 years. And once they shift, it causes like a giant like apocalypse. Big earthquakes, giant tsunamis. Once the apocalypse happens, we go right back to the Stone Age. And it said that our first humans, like as us, it was 10,000 years ago. So if you think about it, 10,000 years ago, we're in year 2000. We're at 12,000 years right now. And now you see like global warming and like that. Like in the book, it says that we are the sixth civilization that came out of the apocalypse. So we just get to a certain point in life and then it just... And that explains a lot, because remember how you were saying that the Sahara Desert used to be green and like the Antarctica used to have forests like that? Yeah. That's what happens. Like it switches
everything and flips. Yeah.
So now like some places turn cold, some places turn hot. That's why they was talking about like the flood in the Bible like that. That's probably what happened to Atlantis and
I was
like
just
that.
about to say Atlantis. It would make sense for a city in the water if the water wasn't there before.
Yo, it sounds like what's going on in the world right now. We have all type of crazy weather and floods everywhere and forest fires, and the weather's just one day it's hot, one day it's cold. So we definitely going through some type of shift.
What is the next tallest thing we built? Stable structure after the pyramids.
What?
The Eiffel Tower.
Really?
Yes, late 1800s in Paris, the Eiffel Tower.
Huh.
That was the first stable structure we built as a civilization that was taller than the pyramids. So the Egyptians knew architecture. Those rocks are nowhere in the region. They found a place where those rocks were mined. And those are some big-ass rocks.
The thing about the pyramids that's so impressive is the precision and the sheer numbers. 2,600,000 stones.
Our best understanding of Stonehenge is that it's a functioning observatory that can actually predict eclipses.
Hey, so I think that the Eiffel Tower, I think that was built a long time before when they say it was built, but you know, that's just my opinion. I don't really have any evidence, but the pictures kind of seem a little iffy, a little photoshopped, you know, just like a lot of these buildings from back in the day. you know, the photos look a little odd. You know, you got these white vanilla skies in the background. So I don't know about that one. As far as the pyramids go, I feel like they could possibly have been built in another dimension, another realm, you know, the mind realm. And when we were in that time, they just manifested right there on the spot, like bam. That's one theory, you know.
What conspiracy theory do you believe is 100% true? Celebrities aren't actually giving their kids absurd names. They just aren't publicizing their legal names.
That makes
sense. There are
sense.
people rich enough to disappear. There must be some billionaires we've never heard of. That 95% of social media comments on news stories, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, are made by bots. For many years, people were considered crazy for saying the government is spying on everything you do online. Then the leaks started. Human cloning has already been done or attempted. We cloned a sheep named Dolly in 1996, and humans aren't that much different to sheep in their early blastocyst or embryonic development. Some government agency has probably cloned a human, and are watching over that person right now. Apple got rid of the headphone jack because Square was competing with Apple Pay. Jesse's girl and Stacy's mom are the same person. Social media algorithms are designed to enrage you and keep you unhappy. That Epstein was murdered to keep the world's elite secrets from being out.
Yo, pause. Hold on, I got two takes on how they're saying this. They're saying that Epstein, right? It could be like one of the conspiracy theories that I believe is that Epstein was murdered. All right, that's one way. But also, I'm seeing it as that Epstein, meaning that one. You know, if they were just talking about cloning and stuff a minute ago, what if they're talking about that Epstein was murdered, but the actual one is still here? Ooh, let me add to the conspiracies.
There is more to both Kennedy assassinations than has been officially released. The CIA regularly posts this topic to see if people are catching on to the real conspiracies yet. It's been decades, but I'm like 95% sure my uncle is walking around with my real nose still in his pocket. Companies create shortages just to give them an excuse to raise prices. Not all of the more recent shortages, but certainly a good chunk of them. They also make sure the hype around the shortage is scaring consumers into buying as much as possible.
The darkest conspiracies in the world. The Mandela effect. A theory that suggests that our current reality has somehow been shifted into an alternate universe. Such evidence includes things like the Berenstain Bears being Berenstain Bears, fruit of the loom, with and without the cornucopia. Even the memory of Mandela dying in prison back in the 1980s versus 2013, supposedly created by the CIA as a psyops. Are we really in an alternate reality? Hit the plus sign if you think so.
Yes, I know that I am high right now, but look at this lady. She is hitting a tennis ball against absolutely no surface.
Bro,
It's just bouncing back to her. Like, look at it. How is it doing that?
Yo. That just messed my mind up. What was the tennis ball hitting to bounce back at her? Like, there was nothing there. Was the wind strong enough to, you know, make the tennis ball come back to her? Like, if it was that strong, I don't see why you'd be outside playing tennis. So, yeah, that one kind of messed my mind up, y'all. Whatever that is, that's crazy.
Every picture of the Earth is CGI. This was the owner of NASA, Werner von Braun, and on his grave he has Psalms 19:1, which is a Bible verse. The Bible verse is, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork." Why would the owner of NASA have this on his grave? Alongside of that, NASA in Hebrew means to deceive, beguiled. On top of that, look at what happens when I type in flat earth backwards into Google. NASA is the first one that comes up. Everything in this creation has a torus field, which is an electromagnetic field. At the center of this electromagnetic field, between the two poles, you have the plane of inertia, which is the heart chakra, The plane of inertia is the 0 point between the two poles. This is why we have duality here. Everything's torus fields. Atoms are torus fields. The Earth is a giant torus field. This is why the Earth is green, nature is green, and the sky is blue, because blue comes after the green chakra. This is why all compasses point to the North Pole, because it's the center of the torus field. This is where the most electromagnetic energy is stored within the field.
Hey, so it was within the last couple of years actually. I just found out that compasses actually only go north, right? And I was telling other people this and they were a little bit confused, but a compass will never show you any other direction other than north. You know, the little arrow is only going to go north. No matter which way you turn, it's going to consistently go back to north. And I was like, if there's a South Pole, why does it never show south, right? And no one could really answer that question. But in my opinion, I don't feel like there is a South Pole. Like there's one right there in the middle.
Earth can be rearranged to spell heart because we live on the plane of inertia, the center of the torus field, the green chakra.
Nostradamus is crazy. He has made some crazy predictions like 9/11. His prediction says, in the year of the new century and 9 months, which is 2001, right? And 9 months, September. Yeah. September 11th. From the sky will come a great king of terror. This is a plane. He doesn't, you got to think he's from the 1600s, right? If he's visioning this in his head, he's not going to know what a plane is.
What is that?
Right.
You know?
The sky will burn at 45 degrees. If you look up right now, the longitude and latitude of New York City, it is 40.5 degrees north. In the city of York, there will be a great collapse. 2 twin brothers torn apart by chaos. I don't believe in psychics for the most part, right? But then I'm like, how do I explain that?
I do have something to tell you, bruh, that I can't even explain. And till this day, nobody can, brother. It's hella weird.
Did this happen a long time ago?
Well, it still happens.
Whoa.
So this happened in Scotland at this place called Overturn Bridge or Overtorn Bridge.
I know what you're talking about.
You might have heard this, bro. Apparently since 1960, bruh, over there on this bridge, there are hella dogs for some weird reason that jump to their death from this bridge, and it's like a 50-foot drop.
I've heard about this.
Yeah, and the craziest shit about it, bro, is some of these dogs will survive the drop and then still
get back up and jump off again. That's insane.
And even till this day, the dogs still try to do that shit. So people will just avoid walking their dogs across that type of bridge.
So it could even be like, I'm walking my dog.
Yes, and
your
my
dog
will
would just
probably
off.
try to jump. Yes. Like, what is the phenomenon? You know what I mean?
What makes the dogs want to jump?
Wake the fuck up.
What?
Wake up.
Ooh, is that a devil?
Wake up. Wake up.
What is that?
Wake up. Wake
What
up.
is this?
Wake up.
Buildings in which we just saw and how heavy they were, right? Tons and tons of stones. Well, here's a stone that probably weighs about 20 tons and
Look
can
at that.
barely move from a truck, right? You're trying to move that, the truck's moving, everything's falling, right? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And especially, let's say these buildings were built in the 1800s or 1700s when there were only about 1,000 people and none of this technology existed.
Exactly.
Well, that's another good question. How on earth did all of those things get built, right? Or moved, or something like this, right? Or something like this. I think it goes to show that when we look into the past, things were very, very advanced, but we were told that we were supposedly, like I said, running around on horses and wagons and on... So we're going to go back to 1893 Chicago, and this is not the Chicago in which I know, right? The Chicago I know does not have statues like this and look anything like this. But this is what Chicago looked like before it was reset.
Look, all of these cities before this reset looked amazing. Like the buildings, the architecture, everything looks amazing. And then they tear it all down and add these glass and steel buildings that are just so plain and rectangular and square and just bogus. It's like we are regressing in life. You know, this was grand to be able to build something like this. But what we building now, trash.
Right? The fires that we heard about in Chicago and all those things, they were removing all of this. Look at this detail. This is a completely different city in which we know of today. Because look at this. Look at the architecture. Look at the design. Think of how hard it would be to create all of this, right? We can barely make a little bean and wrap it in mirrored paper, let alone statues like this made out of copper, right? Look at this archway. Look at the detail here. This is in Chicago. This is old world history, which is not taught about, right? They keep us in the dark. They don't teach us about our true potential and how there used to be a unified, advanced society which built like this all over the world.
Man, it's crazy to even think about, right? If you look at those old pictures of all of these buildings and architecture across the world around that same time period, it just looks amazing. And like he said, you get all these stories about these fires that get started by a cow kicking over some stuff in a barn in Chicago. Man, that stuff is trash. But yeah, y'all, these are some crazy TikTok conspiracy theories. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notification bell on, and until next time, YouTube, peace.